Oh.
Good afternoon, everybody. Is it good morning?
Hello.
Nearly afternoon.
Yeah.
Hello, Tina. I haven't seen you yet.
Yeah, there's a face I haven't seen for a while. Hi, Tina. I like looking at people's shelves and wallpaper.
Thank you,
Hi, Matthew. Hello,
Hiya.
Tina.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
I know, it's proper lockdown beard.
We play a game now at home where we see if we can figure out what's on people's shelves behind them. There was some bloke, I don't know who was speaking on the news yesterday. I was more interested in the bookshelf, the books he had on his bookshelf, trying to figure, oh look, there's a biography of Nelson Mandela.
Oh, I wish I'd done it in front of my bookcase now.
Yeah.
Nice to see you though, Tina. I feel like I'm really missing you.
Yeah, I haven't seen you for ages.
I know.
Oh, and here's another Tina. Hi, Tina Walker.
So just give everyone a couple of minutes to join.
I can see Rachel Richards' mannequin. Rachel does brilliant embroidery on school uniforms and workwear and those kinds of things. So.
Amazing.
Uniform 7, if people want to know.
Where are you based, Donna? Hiya.
Hello, hi. I work from home. I'm a physiotherapist.
Are you Essex or Norfolk or neither?
Oh, Bishop Stortford.
Bishop Stortford. Oh, so you're more
Hertfordshire, yes.
More our way.
Yeah.
What about you, Jenny?
I'm in Norfolk.
Yeah.
Ah, you one of Kathy's lot.
Yes.
Yeah, Jenny used to come along to some of my She Means Business things when we could actually meet together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, those days will come again.
They will.
I'll just give everyone one more minute.
We're still a minute away anyway, aren't we? And if people are anything like me, they'll be there up until 11:59 and 50 seconds. Oh, where's your mannequin gone, Rachel?
I don't have it in this room. This is my office.
Oh, I thought I saw one before.
No, just boxes in here.
Oh, I think it was the angle of her chair.
Oh,
It looks like a mannequin for sure.
Oh, is it this chair?
Yeah, on the side it did. It looked like a bust.
No, that's all over with the stock.
Oh, bless you. Okay, so 1 minute past. I think let us crack on. I'm recording the session. So firstly, good morning, everybody. Great to see so many friendly and happy faces that are missing desperately. So thank you very much for flipping over from our offline events to our online. Kathy and I are running. We're running lots actually. We've done one this morning. We've got a weekly lunchtime learning session. We've got a Monday morning masterclass. We've got a Friday workshop. So we're definitely making sure that we're seeing all of you at some points in the week, which is fantastic. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Emma Good. I have 24 Fingers, which is a social media agency in Brentwood. So we help people that are all fingers and thumbs with their social. Lots of people are told nowadays that, you know, you've got to be on social media and you've got to be posting every day, 7 days a week. Well, our job is to help you understand why you need to be posting on social media, what platforms, what time of the day and what day of the week, because one size does not fit all. And all of those posts that you read about that 3 o'clock on a Monday afternoon is the best time to post on Instagram. It's not, and our job is to explain what the best time is for your individual business. Kathy and I work really closely together, and more actually, we worked out last week was the year anniversary of us putting on our training events, and we've had now over 120 businesses come through our workshops, which is fantastic. It's increasing by the second, so super thankful for everybody's support. I'm going to hand over to Kathy now, and I'm going to put everyone on mute until we start chatting.
Thanks very much. Work really closely together. I'm Kathy Ennis, and I'm based in beautiful West Norfolk, and if I stand on tippy toes I can see the sea out of my office window, so just to make you all jealous. And it's sunny, but I'm a business mentor, so I'm the other side of the coin to what Emma does. I'm the person that helps business owners understand the business in their business, what it is they should be saying, who it is they should be saying it to, how to structure things so that their products and services are attractive to the customers that they want to attract. And that's why Emma and I work so closely together, is that often the next port of call is, well, I know what I want to sell, I know who I want to sell it to, how do I get the message out? So we work really closely on that sort of thing. So just a couple of things. As Emma said, we're running one of these lunchtime learnings every week, 12 till 12:30. Not next week on Monday because it's the bank holiday, but we will be here Tuesday. Okay. And just a couple of housekeeping things. If you do have any questions, just pop them into the chat section as we're going through, and we'll do our best to answer them if we can. If we run out of time, we do have a group called 24 Piggies, so you can always join that group and post your questions in there, and we'll answer them for you in that space. So do feel free. As Emma said, folk are on mute simply because you know what it's like when you're on one of these. As soon as sound happens, something else features. And because Emma is actually rendering a video at the moment from our masterclass this morning, I'm actually going to be sharing my screen with the slides. So we will be going through that. And as Emma said, this will be recorded, and we will be popping it into the 24 Piggies group as well. So if you need to refer back to it at all, please do. Okay, so I'll share my screen now, Emma, and so we'll just pop into there, and let me just move this out here and just do, come on, it always takes longer when you're online. Okie dokie, right. Oh, those are our details, but we will be sharing those with you in a little while, so I'll pass over to Emma now.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Kathy. So today's session is all about email automation, a way of getting your message out there when you sleep, which is that nirvana for most of us as business owners. Firstly, why email? Why not purely social media or direct mail or leaflet drops or newspaper advertising? Well, number one, email is trusted, so we all check out email constantly. I don't know about you, but 88% of people are checking their email on their smartphones. 91% of people are checking their email daily. That's huge. I know from anecdotal and talking to other people, sometimes we don't check our social media every day. Sometimes we want a little break. Email seems to be something that we consistently check every single day. It's trusted. There's no fake news with email. We know that if we opt in to a retailer or a service-based business email chain, we want to get their information. It's something that we've actively chosen. In terms of deliverability, email is reliable. For those of you that have been on Facebook for a number of years, you'll see that the organic reach, i.e. how many people are seeing your posts, has decreased and declined year on year. Well, email still gets delivered 90% of the time. And if you compare that to Facebook, Facebook is like 1% of fans, if that. So email is a way of getting your content in front of somebody consistently and reliably. And in terms of bang for buck, email has 3 times the amount of conversion rate as social. So for every £1 that you spend on an email, you're going to get £38 back into your business. Now, that is a fantastic ratio at any stretch of imagination, and especially right now. So Kathy and I have been doing lots of workshops around how to market your business while in lockdown, and I have to say that the companies that are still communicating with me by email, they're the ones that I remember. And when we do come out of this, because obviously we will come out of this, it's the companies that I still remember. They're the ones that I'm going to be wanting to work with, rather than the companies that have shied away from communicating with me. It's going to take me and them a lot more time to kind of build up that trust element again. And email is something that you can do regularly and consistently and see a return on your investment. I know there's a lot of business owners that talk to me and say, I've been doing this social media stuff and I can't see the effect that it's had on my business. Email is very, very easy to track, and actually social is really easy to track, and I can talk about that on an individual level, but certainly at email you can definitely see what you've done and what that's done for your business. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I spoke in the title about automation, and let's just say humans are involved. We're not in a robot society just yet. But automation is a great way of letting the systems and processes in your business do the hard work for you. So I was talking about this on the masterclass that we had this morning. I've probably introduced automation maybe a year ago, maybe a bit longer, and I have to say it's been a revelation. What that means is that while I sleep, can have email communication going out to all of my prospect customers that potentially I don't know. That happens automatically. I don't need to touch it. I don't need to do anything. Once I've set it up once, I can just let it do its thing. And the best feeling in the world for me is when I wake up in the morning and I check my emails first thing and I see lots and lots of strangers that have opted in to receive my stuff. That feels brilliant, because at the start of my business, it was very much my friends and family who were opting in. Now I'm getting people that I don't know asking for more information and asking to download my guides and asking for my area of expertise, and that feels brilliant. And I get new email sign-ups every single day now in the business, and it wasn't like that at the start, and the fact that it is now gives me great consistency. I know how many people that I'm going to get in my pipeline each month, and I know out of my pipeline how many will convert. And I don't know about anybody else, but the less stress and pressure I can have right now is a good thing. So personally for me, that's what automation gives me in my business.
Okay, so I want to talk about some of the things that you can actually automate, but I do want to throw in here as well is that for those of you that may not be aware or wondering, okay, so how do I do this stuff? We're actually talking about using an email marketing platform. So we're not talking about using things like Outlook, Yahoo, Gmail, those general communication-based email platforms that we use to just have conversations with each other. We're talking here about using a platform, lots of people use things like MailChimp. I know Emma uses Campaign Monitor. I use Active Campaign. There are hundreds of these platforms out there, and each one of them has has its own foibles, if you want to put it that way. And the thing with all of them is to find one that you feel comfortable with. Most of them have a free trial offer, so you can give them a go for say 14 or sometimes 30 days to see which one you feel most comfortable with. Some of them have a freebie offer. So for example, a lot of people use the free version of MailChimp, and I'll come into why I don't think that's necessarily the best thing to do going forward. I know there's a platform called Mailer Lite that offers you a very, very comprehensive freebie version that is free as long as your mailing list stays under 1,000. So, we're talking about a platform that has been specifically developed to allow the messages you want to get to your customers in front of those people, because they've actually said, yes, I want to get information from these people. And the sorts of things that help people get onto your list, your mailing list in your email platform, are providing them with things that they would find interesting. So typically, and I bet if we went around the group, all of you have done this at some time. You've gone onto somebody's website, you've gone onto a company's website, and there's been something there that said, download our blah, blah, whatever it might be, whether it's an ebook, a checklist, some kind of report, something like that, where you think, oh yes, I want to get hold of this. You may also have been onto people's websites where there's been a box that says sign up for my newsletter, and you've probably looked at that and thought, oh, I don't know, no, I don't want to get loads of gump from them all of the time. So one of the provisos I'm going to throw in here is that you can have a sign up box on your website, or even on your social platforms you can have links to a sign up box. Please, hand on heart, begging you with every single fibre of my being, do not call the thing that you send out regularly a newsletter, because you will probably get the number 0 wanting to get it. But if you say my regular hints, tips and ideas, your weekly dose of exercise to make sure that you don't groan every time you get out of a chair, thinking of the physiotherapist here, you know, those kinds of things, that's the sort of stuff that people are interested in. So they're interested in our expertise. And you're thinking about Rachel, you know, it could even be a downloadable thing where parents can gauge the size of the school uniform that they might need for the kids, if they're ordering from you. So it's something that's going to help your customers. Okay.
Thank you, Kathy.
Sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. In chat, I've just popped in an example actually of something that we do every month. So we do a pre-filled social media calendar. Lots of business owners tell me that they struggle to know what to be posting for a whole month. So we give them 31 ideas every single month. So in chat, I popped in the link, and you'll be able to see our methodology in terms of the page that we take people to, what we ask people to give us in return to get the calendar, and then what happens after the calendar, after the sign up, how they get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that Emma said she's only really been using email for sort of properly, if you want to put it that way, for about a year. I've been using email marketing as the mainstay of my business for probably about the last 15 to 17 years. And in fact, in the last recession we had, it was the one thing that actually kept my business going and kept me in front of my customers. So I'm a massive, massive advocate of email marketing, because I still think, going back to those stats Emma gave you, it's the one thing people have said, yes, I want to hear from you, and your stuff appears in their list. So one of the things you need to concentrate in is how do I build my mailing list? You know, maybe I'm just starting at this, I've got 0 people on my list, how do I actually start? Well, what you have to do is you have to make sure that you ask people to come onto your list, and you might say, you know, in order to receive this thing, or I've got such and such that might be of help to you. So if we don't ask people to do something, they're not going to do it. And you know, that box you might have on your website that says sign up for my newsletter, just go in and change that box to get your weekly dose of something, or keep up to date with such and such and such and such. Just take the word newsletter off, because you won't get anybody on that list from that thing. And I think that the kinds of places that we could be asking, obviously I've mentioned on your website. On your social media, there are places in your profiles on your social media where perhaps you can put a call to action to get people to either download something from you, or sign up for something. You might have some clients that are what you might call your VIPs. You could actually go out to them and say, you know, would you be interested in getting some regular information as a very important person to my business? You can invite people to events. I mean, events like this, one of the things that happens here is that we get to know who you are. Okay, so there's that. If you're out at any trade shows, exhibitions, yes, they will come back, folks. You know, things like conferences, those sorts of things, and you may have a stand or something like that. The old idea of popping somebody's business card into a fishbowl, that's one way of doing it. If you've got a shop, you might have an A board outside there. The fact of the matter is that you can ask people to become part of your community anywhere and everywhere that you actually function as a business. Okay, I'll hand over to Emma now.
That's great tips, Kathy. And just to echo that, if we don't ask, we don't get. And if people don't know what we've got to offer, how can they possibly buy from us? I've got a anecdote here. I've got a networking friend. I've been networking with him for about a year. I see him on LinkedIn every single day. He's in loads of my WhatsApp groups. He's a really nice guy. I have absolutely no idea what he does or what his business is. And equally, I have no idea whether he's got any handy hints, tips or guides to tell me, because he's never actually told me. He's never told me what he wants me to do. So we need to be explicit, but we need to be legally compliant too when we're explicit. So we need to make sure that we get express consent from people to sign up. We can't just add people if we spoke to them once at a networking do. We need to make sure that we've got specific permission to add them and that they've actually opted in. We can't do that old thing of pre-filling a checkbox and saying, oh yeah, they signed up for that. We need to tell them what to expect from us. So when people sign up for our blogs, they get a welcome email to tell them how often that we're going to email them. So we email once a week. We need to make sure that we give people a way to opt out. So on any of our lead magnets, on any of our marketing communications, there needs to be an unsubscribe button, and that they can press that button anytime, and that they can ask how we hold their data and where we hold it. And also that we won't share that data on. There's nothing worse than feeling that your data's been breached. And I know I've had it in the past where organisations have passed my data on to third parties, and I've just instinctively and instantly asked them to stop spamming me. I've taken my details away from them, and it's left me with a really bad taste in my mouth. So please make sure on any comms that we do, all of that is really clear. And we might feel that we are kind of minimising or decreasing the amount of people we're going to get signed up, but the point is that we'll be getting people that have truly signed up, not half-heartedly. They actually want our stuff and they're not going to leave. Whereas if we just get randoms that we're not quite sure whether they do or don't want our stuff, then we'll definitely get a higher unsubscribe rate. And with that comes poor quality email account. And once we get that, we're less likely to get our stuff in front of our customers. So it's all there for a reason. And I think just to finish up on this, think about how you want your data to be treated, and that should give you a good indication of how you're going to treat your customers' data. Not that anybody would do this on this call, but it's always worth pointing out.
Yeah, I think there was a massive hoo-ha a couple of years ago when the GDPR regulations were supposedly changed to make things a bit tighter. Well, in fact, all they did was put into words what was ethical best practice, which is that you never add anybody if they haven't given you express consent to add. And the other thing is about purchased email lists. You will get people contacting you from time to time saying, I can provide you with an email list of 10,000 people or something like that. The value of that list is probably a minus figure, nowhere near a plus figure, for very many reasons. And one of the key reasons is that the email service providers actually can recognize a purchased list, and within their agreements you will find that they all state that purchased lists are not to be uploaded into their systems, so they will totally downgrade your account as a consequence of that. If you're sending stuff out to people to whom it's not interesting, it's not relevant, they'll mark you as spam. So you really do need to be on top of this. Send stuff that people are interested in and that they've told you that they're interested in, and don't be upset if they unsubscribe. It just means that there's a potential person who thought you might be the person to provide the services for them, but maybe you're not. But that's okay, because there are hundreds of other people that will think you're absolutely brilliant.
That's great. Thank you, Kathy. So we just had a question in from Rachel who says, what should we do if the frequency of emails might change, i.e. monthly, weekly? One way, and I'll let Kathy add on to this, but one way you could do it is segment the type of email that you're sending and tell people, we're sending this weekly or peak season update, but if you only want to get my monthly, then unsubscribe to this bit, or click here to subscribe to our extra bonus content. I know personally for me, I subscribe to something and they do a weekly, but now they're doing daily. But they asked me specifically if I also wanted my daily one, and of course I said yes, because I'm brand loyal. I would do it that way. Anything to add on that, Kathy?
Yeah, I think, and this is one of my bugbears with some of the free versions of email platforms, is that one of the things that is makes it so much easier for you is if you can create separate lists within your email platform. So you might have a list that says, these are the people that signed up from the sign up box on my website. These are the people that signed up who said that they're just interested in getting notification of my next blog. These are the people that have signed up because they downloaded that resource on that particular topic. Because what then happens is that you can actually determine what and when you send to those people that are interested in that particular thing. Now, without going into too much technical detail, you can then encourage people to become part of a much wider community. But if somebody signed up on your website to say that they're interested in receiving your weekly top tips, then those people get your weekly top tips because that's what they've signed up for. If they've signed up for some kind of lead magnet about something that you provide, so a sizing chart, for example, for kids' school uniform, Rachel, it could well be that you say to them, well, what I'm going to do is each quarter I'm going to email you a new sizing guide. So what you're doing each time is you're prepping people for the information, but within each of the things that you send them, there are calls to action for them to do other things like come and like you on your social media. Did you know you can get more help and advice if you come over and sign up for my weekly email? Would you like notification that my regular blog is coming out? All you need to do is click here. So it's about creating circles within circles. And I think the key thing is that if, you know, for me, if you're getting people to sign up from a general list off your website, and this is always the best place to start rather than being overly complicated, is have somewhere where people can sign up to get your regular thing. You set the regularity, okay, weekly, monthly, whatever. The first thing that they actually get from you is a short series of emails telling them what to expect. So the first one says, welcome, thanks very much for becoming part of the community. This is how often I'm going to post. This is the kind of content I'm going to post. Then a couple of days later, they get another one that says, you know, thanks for being part of the community. Have you thought about coming and finding me on Facebook or Instagram, etc.? And then the third one would be something where I'd get them to do something specific. It might be a one-question survey. What's the biggest problem you're facing in your business at the moment, or something like that, depending on the kind of thing that I'm in. By that time, they've then got into your normal cycle of postings. Okay, so that way you've actually welcomed them in, you've shared with them who you are as a business, so there's no glitch in terms of them, and they will, forgetting that they signed up in the first place.
Brilliant. Thank you, Kathy.
Okay. Any other questions, folks?
Not yet. Okay, no worries. So if we go on to the next slide. So basically, we've got half an hour to go through what is quite an in-depth topic. So on Friday, we've got a deeper dive in this. We're going to be looking at how to set up all of your automation within your email providers, the different types of email providers and what some are better for than others, how you decide what to send out as an automated lead magnet, and the types of things specific to your business. So if anybody wants to dive deeper into the subjects that we've gone through today, the conscious that it's a light touch, that's this Friday. Next week, we've got sales funnels. Each of us want a consistent funnel. None of us like that feeling of not knowing where the next lead is coming from. So next Friday will all be about how to create a sales funnel, which is possible even throughout lockdown. And then beginning of June, we've got how to grow your business with Google Toolkit. So it's looking at things like Google My Business. It's looking at SEO. It's looking at how you rank, how you come up in searches. It's looking at how Google perceive you and how you can make Google love you that bit more. So that's on Friday the 5th of June. The next slide should show you how to get in contact with us. So Kathy and I are both on all of the social channels, either 24 Fingers or LittlePiggy. If anybody wants to discuss anything deeper as a one-to-one, please do feel free to connect with us and we can answer any specific questions about your businesses that you might have. And I think the next slide's got our contact details on.
Yeah, so as Emma said, just get in touch, or if you're not in there already, come on into the 24 Piggies Facebook group, ask your questions, because as somebody who's got a tutorial background, I always used to say to my classes, if you're thinking about that question, there's probably at least 10 other people in this room that are thinking the same thing. So just be brave and ask it. So do come in, because I bet that your question would help other people. As Emma said, this whole thing about email is a pretty vast topic. On my website, if you go into the search bit in the blog, I've done a whole series of blogs about best practice in email marketing. So do feel free to go in there and consume as much of that as you would like. And if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to get in contact. I think it is an overlooked part of your social output. And I'd really encourage you to look at email very closely as part of what you do, rather than just that, oh God, I said I'd send them one on Monday, but I'm not going to do it because the kids are screaming, kind of things. So I'd definitely encourage you to get into that.
Brilliant, thank you, Kathy. So unless anybody has any other questions, we're going to wish everybody a wonderful rest of afternoon and week. Stay safe, everybody. And like we said, pop into the 24 Piggies Facebook group, and we look forward to answering any of your specific questions over there.
No more questions from anybody.
Stand everyone into silence.
Oh, that's just a thank you. Thanks, Tina Walker, Liberty VA.
No worries. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.